Hello guys. Are you aware that your computer, laptop, or basically your phone has this one tiny little feature that most of us are not aware of? And did you know that you can have a Windows 7 Linux OS installed on your Windows computer to run it like it's been designed to use it that way? Well, my brothers and sisters, let me introduce you to the world of virtualization. And yes, virtualization is a thing in most computers and laptops that we are using on. There is a mobile version of it, but it seems to be experimental at this stage, and we might have to wait for a few decades to be materialized into the phones of the future. But anyways, let's dive into today's mini vlog of this topic. And let's ask this question is, what is virtualization? So imagine this. You have a desktop that runs on a Windows 11, right? And by just opening up an option or an app in it, it allows you now to run a second desktop in your computer. That kind of like looks like a two Windows OS in one device. Now that is virtualization. And the definition of the virtualization is that in information technology, it's a feature that allows you to logically run a second desktop with its own OS in your computer. The best part of this thing is you can run multiple virtual OS this thing, meaning you can not just have two, you can have one, right? No, three, four, maybe more, depending on the computer. Now, the second desktop that we are describing is what we call as the virtual machine. And the main desktop that we use to run the second desktop, which is the one who runs the virtual machine, is all we call a host machine. A virtual machine's other name, take note, is often called hypervisor. So we have a supervisor and there's a hypervisor. Hypervisor is more of a higher level of it. Now, it doesn't that stop there about virtualization. Let me tell you that there's three forms of virtualization. The first one is the full virtualization, next is partial virtualization, and para-virtualization. Let's define the full virtualization first. Full virtualization allows you to run a virtual machine out of the box and operate it regardless of its host machine's OS version and memory storage, meaning if you install it and simply set it up on your desktop, it can run smooth without any need of modification. This partial virtualization on the next one is where you must modify a certain settings to make that application compatible to it. Sometimes these apps cannot be compatible to your OS and you have to make some changes to make these applications work when running a virtual machine. And there's this last one, the para virtualization, which is somewhat an isolation from the host machine's OS and it is heavily modified to have its own software and environment. Para virtualization is also being used for just peer testing grounds of the application before being released to the public. So, what's the benefit of having virtualization to today's computing technology? Well, besides from allowing you to play Farlight 84 twice with it and have your own two-player game in one computer. So lonely. It benefits you in terms of cost of deployment. Now, utilizing a virtual machine in a desktop allows you to, for instance, have a multiple server of virtual machines to run in your desktop to do more than just a dozen of servers. As a server costs typically 100,000 bucks to acquire, hard drives and firewalls are not yet included. Power consumption is also less with virtualization, typically ranging from 15 to 20% of its consumption rate that's been saved compared to the server power. And the server is huge, like a box of refrige, like this huge refrige in my back. It's bigger, but maybe not that big, maybe just the size there. And then you got yourself from being economic one, you get to operate the organization at ease with management and portability. So that's it for now about the virtualization. I hope you learned something about the mini vlog that I've been created and I'll see you next time. Peace out.